Well, and he's making another appearance here on the Rick and Bubba Show. We've been huge fans of this man, great American, thankful for what he's already done for our country and continues to do. Welcome back to the program, Ben Carson. Ben, welcome back.
Hey, always good to be with you guys.
Well, we're excited. I know that you are part of the Trump administration, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and kind of exciting some of the things that are happening because of the tax cuts involving urban development and the Department of Housing. And I know you're traveling to our home city today.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing what's going on around the country. You know, the opportunity zones were created as a result of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Job Act, and it allows people to take unrealized capital gains and invest them in these designated zones. There are 8,761 of those zones. And here in the state of Alabama, there's 158 of those zones, 28 of those in Jefferson County. And these are places that normally get neglected. No one's particularly interested in investing in these areas. Now they're being incentivized to take that risk, and they are rewarded for that. It's a win-win situation, because if they leave the investment there for 5 years, they get a 10% reduction in the capital gains that they owe on the original investment. That increases by 5% if they leave it in for 2 more years than that. And if they leave it for 10 years, they don't have to pay any capital gains on any of the new money that was gained as a result of the investment. So it's a tremendous inducement. But more importantly, the real winners are the people who live in these opportunity zones. There's 35 million Americans that live in opportunity zones. The poverty rates in opportunity zones, 32% versus 17% in the rest of the country. This is a real chance to give people a ladder that they can climb to success. And there's been so many things that have worked in the past against people that has disincentivized people to want to climb those ladders of opportunity. We're in the process of removing those things because we only have 330 million people, and China has 4 times that many, and so does India. If we don't develop all of our people, we'll never be able to compete in the future.
Secretary Carson, explain to us a little bit about when you say invest in an opportunity zone. What does that look like? How does that manifest itself?
Well, there are opportunity funds, qualified opportunity funds that already have come into existence, which allow individuals, corporations, whoever, to place the money into these opportunity zones, which invest in things like buildings, multifamily buildings in particular, and businesses, and entrepreneurship. There are several pillars that we're looking at: economic development, entrepreneurship, safety, enterprise. These are the kinds of things that are being invested in already. Here in the South, I was recently in Mississippi. One of the sawmills was going out of business. People were losing their jobs. It was in an opportunity zone. So investors came in and they said, hey, this is a great chance for us. They bought it. They retooled it. Now it's up and running again. They're hiring people. And the building industry has come in to start building houses for all the people that they're hiring. This is the kind of thing that we're wanting to see.
Well, and the thing I look at this plan and what you're doing, and this is the part we love, is it's ultimately trying to achieve self-sufficiency.
Right.
We had an administration for a while that celebrated people on food stamps and celebrated how many people needed government housing. This program is saying, no, we'll come in and we'll give you an opportunity for you then to become self-sufficient on your own.
Exactly.
And that is going to have a much bigger long-term effect because everything that's funded directly by the government lives and dies by whatever the situation is and what's available.
That's exactly right. And not only that, but there's some perverse incentives in place that we're in the process of trying to eradicate. They're deeply ingrained, and it's hard work, but we're going to get it done. For instance, if you're receiving housing assistance and you get a raise, you immediately have to report that so your rent can go up. or you bring another income-producing person into the household, you have to report that so your rent can go up. Don't even think about getting married. You probably, not only your rent go up, you probably lose your subsidy altogether. This is crazy stuff. I don't know who put this stuff in place, but we need to get rid of it.
Let me ask you this, too, because it sounds like it's been a big success. I know that we have unemployment numbers for minorities at record lows right now. Do you feel like that your department and President Trump's getting enough praise for this, or enough credit for this, I should say?
Well, there are those who will never praise this administration, will never give it credit, no matter what happens. And they will blame it for everything. But our philosophy is the proof is in the pudding. Let them talk all they want. Let them say all the derogatory things they want. We are fixing the problems.
Well, and that's it, because it goes back to this. We talk about this a lot on the program, and you being a follower of Christ know this is a biblical principle too. What people say isn't the truth, it's what people actually do.
Exactly.
And so when we look at this, people can say what they want to say about this administration, especially involving inner cities and what we're now these opportunity zones, the people who are always being told they're marginalized, and Trump and all the rich Republicans don't care about them. Matter of fact, I had a person email me the other day, I'm sorry to tell you this, Ben, that tells me you're not even part of the black community. And I said, well, I hate to tell Ben that tomorrow. He'll be sad. He'll be sad to hear that.
Yeah, he may disagree.
Right, but the bottom line is this: you can't really make a case this administration doesn't care because of the things that are actually being done.
Yeah, well, so many people have been indoctrinated to believe that people who have done absolutely nothing for them are their savior, and that they are victims, and that they need those people because the other bad people will destroy them otherwise. And they've been told that for year after year, decade after decade, so that it's become inculcated in their genetics. We have to change that, but the way that we change it is by showing people that there is a different pathway, and that this is a pathway that actually truly empowers them, that gives them the ability to control their own lives. Because one of the things that I learned when I was a child, and I used to have the victim mentality because I used to listen to the people around me telling me what a victim I was, and I started reading books. And I started reading about explorers and scientists and entrepreneurs and businessmen, and I began to realize the person who has the most to do with what happens to you is you. It's not somebody else. Does it mean that there are no obstacles in the way? No, it doesn't mean that, but it means you learn how to deal with them.
Do you think the success of this and what you were talking about are those seeds taking hold, or are people being enlightened to that, or are the old ways deep ingrained?
No, they are taking hold. Just this week in Spokane, Washington, we opened one of our Envision centers, and multiple entities that already exist to help people, all under one roof. And that's what we're trying to do all over the country. We're opening multiple Envision centers this summer, and it is there. There are a lot of resources in place that are available to help people, but they have to be able to access those things, and we have to be able to provide the right kind of incentives for people to climb those ladders, and they have to be unafraid that if they begin to climb the ladder, that somebody's going to knock their support out from underneath them.
No doubt. And this solves so many problems, and you've already touched on them, because some of these areas, it's the plan is either find a way to leave, or you have to make a living any way you can, including being involved in criminal acts. But now we're saying, no, why don't we revitalize these communities, and that solves all those problems.
There is a better way, a path of least resistance that will have a better outcome.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you talk about the criminal element. There are a lot of people who end up in the penal system because of environmental factors, and they go into it with no education and no skills, and they come out of it with no education and no skills. So what do? The same thing that got them in there in the first place. Right. So one of the things we're doing now is encouraging people to go into the prisons before they're released, give them some skills, give them some education. We're hooking up employers with people while they're still in prison. When they come out, they have a job already. Some of the things that I've seen are just remarkable. At one place in Florida I went, and they initially had 5 employers who would go in. Now they have 135. They have more jobs for the people coming out than they have people who want the job.
Imagine competing for those people to get a job.
Amen.
I mean, a job is the best halfway house you can have.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
No question.
Secretary, thanks so much. Hey, would it be okay if we asked you, we didn't do this last time we were here, just to give us a liner, hey, this is Ben Carson, and you're listening to the Rick and Bubba Show?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, this is Ben Carson, and you're listening to the Rick and Bubba Show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the work that you're doing in Birmingham, our home city. I know he talked about a lot of the areas where the show's on too, but today he's making his way to Birmingham, going to visit the Campus of Hope. And of course, this is designed by the Opportunity Zones that he just mentioned. You'll see how Mark's Village community has been transformed into a Campus of Hope, and he'll take the tour of that today, meet with our local leaders, and we'll see some of the results of this. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.